Yo, 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 what's up, plant fam? This is Plant Vibes back with another video. In today's video, I wanted to talk about my top five favorite easy houseplants for beginner gardeners. First one up on my list is the money tree. In fact, what I love the most are the braided money trees that have this gorgeous braided trunk. So I just acquired this plant. This is a beautiful specimen, isn't it? I would imagine this is probably like 20 years old. The greenhouse was cleaning it out and they didn't have room for this, so I took it and brought it home. Now, what I love about the money tree, this is one of the most easy growing plants that you can place anywhere in the home. It can tolerate rather dimmer levels of light, but it will definitely grow faster if given nice, bright, indirect light. This is never getting full sun, but it does get a nice kind of brightness throughout the day, which makes this very happy. During the summer months is when this will really take off. If you do have the opportunity to put it out on like a patio or a balcony, they grow so fast. So why is it called the money tree? So there's a funny story about an old man who was impoverished and he was praying to the gods to give him some help and find some riches. And he went home and found this plant growing nearby or at his home, something like that. And he started to grow it, cultivate it. And the really cool thing is these will actually produce seeds after probably a very many years. And they produce seeds which you can then take and grow. And supposedly he grew the plant from seeds, sold them, and found his riches. I kind of like it for a few reasons. I especially like the braided one because it looks like a French braid. And I don't know, I've always had a thing for French braids. I think they look really nice on Samantha. When she has a French braid, it looks beautiful. But I also like it because it has the foliage that kind of looks a little bit like ganja, a little bit like cannabis, doesn't it? But no hallucinogenic properties on this bad boy. Just a very easy plant to grow. If you're a beginner gardener, you'll have beautiful time growing this easy house plant. I water this one in this room about once a month. That's it. Very low level of water is needed to create a happy plant with this. Go take your long road trip, go take your long vacation, go visit your family for 2 weeks. You won't worry about this one getting unhappy while you're gone. All right, let's move on to the next plant, number 2. Okay, number 2 is the snake plant. Everyone knows the snake plant. We all love the snake plant. I really like the snake plant because, of course, this is a plant that can handle being in this dim kitchen. You can tell I specifically left the lights turned off. This is what my kitchen is like in the daytime. Practically no natural sunlight. But this plant is doing fantastic. Actually, these are both two different kinds of snake plants. There's various snake plants. They're all just as easy to grow. I'll show you another snake plant, which is my favorite in my houseplant collection. But this gives a really nice upright kind of structural form. We love it because they grow forever, dimmer conditions. They're just like that money tree. They don't require a ton of lighting. And I think they look beautiful when you have a couple different varieties together. Here you can see the one with the nice variegated edges. This is the pure green form. They are a cinch to propagate. I'll leave a little video link for how you can easily propagate these simply by division. They're a wonderful plant. You should get 1 or 2 of them, and then as they grow, continue to propagate them. This is one of my mainstay plants. You can see as we go throughout this video, you'll see plants that I have multiples of. It's because I propagate them and because they're so easy to propagate and so easy to care for that I just want more. So whether you have 100 plants or 3 plants, a snake plant is something that every beginner gardener should probably start with in your first like dozen or so plants, and it will help you really get confident that you know what you're doing because you really cannot go wrong with the snake plants. Too much water, not enough water, they don't mind, they don't care. All right, so let's go see my favorite snake plant in my collection. This is snake plants were originally Sansevieria, now they are reclassified as a Dracaena, okay? So this I guess would be Dracaena cylindrica. Let's come check it out. This guy right here, it's so beautiful. It looks like, you know, I was a big fan of the Three Ninjas when I was a kid, and there was like one of those like ninja weapons that looked like those like three prongs. I don't know what they're called, and I guess you'd throw them or something, or maybe you poke with them. But it doesn't look like that. It looks like one of those weapons. But this is like such a cool plant, and having a cool plant like this that is so easy to grow. If you're a beginner gardener and you want something to impress people, to make them think that you know what you're doing, not only get snake plants, but get a cool variety of a snake plant like this one. Okay, so now number 3. This is a plant I started off with 1, and now I have like 3 or 4 of them. What plant is that? The ever popular, I don't know is it still popular or not, but this is the Pilea peperomioides, a mouthful. This is also called the Chinese money plant. So we already saw the money tree, now we're seeing Chinese money plant because they look like little, coins. You could take a, heads I win, tails you lose kind of thing. Or maybe like a golden coin filled with chocolate because it's like the holiday season. But this is a succulent plant. You can see the foliage is really nice and thick. Some people have had trouble with this, but I would say this is one of the easiest plants in my garden. You see I have this one over here. I have this one over here, and I'll show you my big mama in just a minute. But what makes these so easy? They like to be in a nice sunny location. They like a lot of brightness. That is the number one thing. As a succulent, they need good lighting. So I have them in all these different locations, and they're all doing really well. But when they're closer to light source, they will grow more efficiently, better. But I also keep them in small containers. As a succulent, it doesn't want to be totally moist and wet all the time. I definitely let it dry out between watering, but I really never think twice about watering it. I water it just along with everything else, but because it's in that small container, it is going to dry out quickly, and that's what it needs. Now I also have another video you can see. Where is it over here? I guess it would be over here. Another video you can see how to propagate these plants and make more, just like this was a propagation I did a little while ago. You can see in here close all of these different plants right here. You can just take a knife, cut it right out, plant it right back into new soil, and you have a brand new plant. So not only is this an easy plant to grow, a great beginner plant, it's also one of the very best plants to propagate if you've never propagated it before. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this guy. This is something that I did recently. I cut out these 2 snake plants from those plants I just showed you a minute ago, planted them right in here. You can see one of the variegated ones with one of the straight green ones. Look how cool it is. This is just like artwork to me. My mother, she's a wonderful artist. A lot of the artwork in my office and around is hers. I couldn't do anything with, I'm okay at drawing, not great, not anything like she is. Don't do painting, don't do anything, but plants are my artwork, and that's what I have fun doing. So you want to see some natural artwork? I'll show you this. Oh, this is kind of a challenge. This is my big mama Pilea. Look at this plant. Look how this stem has just gone up and down and curling around. This is a plant that really kind of it moves towards the sun. Wherever you have it growing, it's gonna find the sun. It's gonna kind of croon its neck like some cartoon character until it can find that sun to its optimal power. And so just check that out. Look how fun that is. So it's an easy plant, but it's also so fun and just full of new babies to be had. Okay, number 4 on my list of top 5 easy house plants for a beginner gardener would be these. These are the Tradescantia. This is Tradescantia Nanouk. And this is, it's escaping me, Tradescantia, I'll leave a little note in the video what it is. A different kind of Tradescantia. But the reason why this plant is so amazing is it's such a fast grower. If you want a plant that will literally grow before your eyes, that would be anything in the genus Tradescantia that I've grown at least. They just continue to grow with ease. Now these plants 1 week ago were about this high. I cut them all down and replanted so I can fill out the base of this container with this Syngonium podophyllum, creating this nice little duo look. I have this in relatively, it's like decent lighting and not the best lighting, but not the worst either. And I also like to kind of keep this soil just slightly moist. I will let it dry out between watering, but I never stress about the water levels. I just do the classic little finger test, take my finger, put it in here. If it feels dry, you know, if I basically poke my finger down to my first knuckle, and if it feels dry, then I give it some water. And that's kind of the classic finger test, which you can do for just about all of your houseplants. But especially this Tradescantia will respond well to that classic finger test. I find them to be a very beautiful plant that kind of grows upwards and overflows. So the reason why I really wanted to add this one to the list, if you're looking for a plant that can either trail or use as like a hanging basket, like something like that, this is a wonderful option. I especially like this Tradescantia Nanouk. It was a plant that Samantha and I had growing with us in Colombia. Somehow it found its way into my pocket and made it back here to my home garden here. Don't tell anyone that. And then this Tradescantia over here was sitting in a garbage can at a greenhouse, and I picked it out, and now I'm growing it, and it looks great with this Monstera Peru. So, plant within the genus Tradescantia. Sometimes called the inch plant because the leaves can be like an inch. It also has another, I don't know if it's derogatory or, I don't know. It's a name which, the wandering Jew plant, I don't know why they call it that. I'm just saying that's what it had been called in the past. If that is a name that rings familiar in your mind, it's not what I call it. I call it Tradescantia. That's what its real name is. It's a very easy plant, and any beginner gardener will have success with this plant. Okay, number 5. Let's go to number 5. All right, number 5, maybe I'm gonna get some hate for this one. Phaleonpsis orchid. These plants are really easy to grow if you just know a couple things. And yes, I have like a really long video, like 20 minutes, kind of detailing everything that you could possibly want to know. But Samantha grew this plant. She was a beginner gardener 2 years ago, had never grown anything really. And she bought one because she loved the elegant flowers. As we know, it's hard to get flowering plants to grow inside the home. But the Phaleonpsis orchid is one that you can get to flower consistently throughout the year if you know a couple things. Number 1, always leave them in the pot that you buy it from. You know, they're sold in these plastic pots with orchid bark or sphagnum moss, one of the two. And you keep it in this plastic pot with great drainage, put it in something a little bit more decorative like this guy. That's kind of like the first thing that you need to know. Second thing, they like to be in a bright location, just like this. This is nice and bright, not full sun, but not dark kitchen either. And if you want it to continue to flower throughout the year, you really just need to do one thing, and that is allow the night temperatures and the day temperatures to have about a 10 to 15 degree gap. So if you have a room like this, which is an unheated room unless we're in here and we actively turn our heat on, the temperatures in here get quite cooler at night. And so that really helps this plant to continue to bloom throughout the year. And it has this thick, beautiful foliage. Basically, if you can see down here, you can see a little bit of moisture. That's perfect. You never want them to be sopping wet. You don't want it to be sitting in water. Maybe I'm making this sound more complicated than it needs to be, but I'm telling you, this is one of the easiest plants. Just give it a little dash of water once a week. That's pretty much it. Maybe a little fertilizer. So I think this should be included in my top 5 easiest house plants to grow for a beginner gardener, because we all want to have something that produces flowers in the home. So keeping that in mind, you will easily grow the Phaleonpsis orchid with success. All right. If you're a beginner gardener, please leave your comments below. Let me know if you decided to purchase any of the plants I listed, or if you have other beginner plants that you think would be better suited or just great additions to this top 5 list. It's not necessarily a top 5 list, it's just 5 that I have in my house that I think are very easy. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, click the like button, and do the little bell for notifications. I do a lot of short videos during the week and then one video every Sunday morning. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you soon. Ciao.